Hi. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. You should be able to hear us. Everything looks good on my end, I think. Um, Hello, welcome. We are live from the apocalypse. And if you haven't heard of us before or seen us stream before or anything like that, we play tabletop role-playing games to raise money for charitable causes and good organizations and progressive nonprofits that need support and help in with the way the world is. I don't know if you've seen or been paying much attention, but it's bad out there. Take care of yourselves, and hopefully we can provide a little bit of entertainment in the meantime. Take your mind off things. But if you are so inclined, and if you would like to, if you like what you see here and enjoy the content that we make, the games that we are playing today, you can just instead of giving your money to Amazon to subscribe to us, which they will take like 60% of, or bits or anything like that, any of the normal Twitch stuff, you can instead take the $5-6, whatever you give, doesn't matter, and donate it instead to the organization that we are raising money for, which in this case is Extra Life. We are raising money for Children's National Hospital through Extra Life. And if you don't know Extra Life, I would be surprised. They're kind of a huge organization. They organize these massive fundraisers throughout the year, every year, which benefit local hospitals, specifically usually children's hospitals. And we are a good ways past the halfway point of our goal of $2,000 for this weekend. We are at $1,200 thanks to the very hard work of the other folks from our games yesterday and the folks who played games throughout the night. If you watched the channel, I'm sure you saw them playing Unhinged Jackbox after 2 a.m. There was some Doom mixed in there as well, and a lot of other stuff that I'm sure I missed because I was sleeping, because I have to run this game. But shout out to everybody who kept that going all night. And thank you so much for your hard work. So yeah, that's what we do at Live from the Apocalypse. That's what's going on this weekend. We're raising money for Extra Life, and this is Babel. This is a game that is set in. This is a game that is set in the same universe as a game that we ran on the channel. One of the games that launched our channel, actually, for over a year. We played a game called Nephilim. It's kind of a near future capitalism is bad game, science fiction game, which I think we can all get behind here. That's the brand. And I love that game a lot. It was the first thing I ever made for this channel, and I'm excited to be back in it with a new group of folks. I hope you like it as well. We're using Impulse Drive, which is one of my favorite systems. It is a sci-fi game, not a sci-fi game. It is a sci-fi powered by the apocalypse system, and like I said, I really enjoy it. So I think we're gonna get right on into it. I said all the things that I need to say. Exclamation point donate to donate, and you'll make the McElroy brothers yell at us and interrupt whatever important storytelling I'm trying to do. You can you can subscribe if you want to. I cannot stop you. But if you do so, all of that money goes back to support the channel, as well as anything given to our Patreon. If you are so inclined, that supports the channel, and anything over our budget cap that we have set for ourselves gets donated to the organization that we're platforming. Anyway, we are very strictly not for profit. It just covers operational costs and the cost of keeping the lights on around here. That is that. We haven't gotten botted in a while. Classic. All right. That's all that stuff. Patreon, subscribe if you want to. If you subscribe, Brandon Lee Mulligan will kill a dog. So that's a bad thing, and you shouldn't do it. And really, just examine yourself if you're so inclined to move ahead with that. No, don't. Oh no, don't do that. Oh God.
Oh, I just ended my subscription, so you all can save at least one dog.
Thank you. Hopefully it's that one. This is cruel.
What a good potato.
I'm already very on the fence about this bit, and this is only making it worse.
I think it would even be better if Anya picks the dog up every single time somebody subs.
Nobody subscribe.
It'll just be a random dog each time. Who knows which one it'll be?
Pet alert.
Only donate, no subscribe. All right, cool. So we'll go around and do some introductions, and then we'll basically get right into it because we don't have as much time as we normally would on the channel. Yeah, hi, my name is Will. I run games here, and I slept last night. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
we're proud of you.
Congratulations.
Yes, progress.
I got more than usual because of the daylight savings time, which is cool. Anyway,
you lose an hour of sleep in the fall.
Do we lose an
No,
hour?
we
Do I get less sleep?
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
Fall back, so we get an
No,
get
you
an hour.
lose. So it goes to 3 o'clock, and then it goes.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
remember. I'm confused.
Extra
2
hour.
a.m. twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I lived in Arizona for 6 years, and so now I'm
Yeah,
just
you're
like,
good.
what is this? It's such BS.
It is. We still have to live with it, and
Yep.
maybe that'll change. Who knows? But
Yep.
yeah, I slept last night. Anyway, we'll go in alphabetical order around. Hi, Amber. Do you want to say hi?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Amber, also known as the Space Jamber on Twitter and Twitch and TikTok. I am speedrunning to 1,000 followers on TikTok. So if you wanna, I'm almost there. I'm like 9:15. So anyway, I am a TTRPG writer, editor, podcaster, streamer with talents so varied. You can call me the TTRPG Swiss Army knife. I run TTRPG Study Hall on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And that's my cozy collaborative co-working stream where we just get together and we like work on our projects. And then this coming Wednesday, I'm actually also hosting a tarot reading stream at 8 p.m. Eastern, in partnership with Knave of Cups, which is a tarot TTRPG company. It's really exciting. And then Thursday, I am going to be, what am I doing? City of Mist on the initiative order. That's where we're going to be doing. And I cannot brain. So thank you, Will, for having me.
Thank you for doing it. Anya?
I need more coffee.
I agreed.
Oh, me. I was just following Amber on TikTok.
Hey.
So, hi, I'm Anya, also known as Lalian Cosplay. I make costumes like Vexalia, who is finally finished. I also play a lot of TTRPGs all over the place. Tomorrow I will be on Girls Run These Worlds. We're starting our Good Society game, and Letitia from the game that Amber was in with me is back and missing a fiance. So,
incredible, spicy.
Because we fucking killed your fiance, right?
Oh no, fiance.
No, it was my fiance.
It was your husband. Your husband was murdered by you, and anyways, someone took the fall for it. Complicated family. So yeah, I do all kinds of things. I'm also a pro GM on Start Playing. I can remember the name of the things, but yes, I do all the things.
All the things. Thank you so much, Anya. JD?
I don't know how I can follow Amber and Anya, but I will try. I am mostly found at Live from the Apocalypse, so that is the easiest way to stalk me. I play in Class Reunion, and I am also a part of Academy H. Outside of Live from the Apocalypse, I have been doing some things with The Lost Caravan, and I just finished up their 4-shot Locust campaign and will be jumping in to do Witches Fated Souls starting this coming week. And as I love to do, I have chosen the character type that will let me suffer the most. So if you want to watch me suffer there, definitely join next Saturday. And I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, Steph?
Hey, I'm Stephanie. I'm primarily found in the Live from the Apocalypse Discord. I professionally lurk there. I've been in a few of their TTRPG games as a player, and I'll also be playing in JD's game later this afternoon as well. So yeah, happy to try Impulse Drive for the first time.
Well, I'll be in that one too. You should. Everybody stick around for a Brindlewood Bay game.
Brindlewood Bay.
Safe to say I've watched the least Murder, She Wrote out of any of the players, so that'll be very interesting.
It's going to be incredible.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it a lot. But with all of that being said, I think we should get right on into Babel with Impulse Drive. Okay. So I think where we start off is with our ship. And I think this particular vessel is called the Enoch. Now, your ship has a few qualities to it that normally you would be able to define somewhat. So I think we can real quick just kind of give ourselves some descriptors for the Enoch. And in this setting, in this world, it's near future. It's the early 2100s. Technology is definitely more on the functional side, by and large, than it is on the aesthetic side. Space travel is a fairly recent development, and it's very exciting, and it's really changed the entire scope of the world as it is defined by our solar system, as far as we've been able to extend. So I think maybe let's all go around same order. We'll do alphabetical order and just add like one descriptor for the Enoch. It could be rusted, shaky, but it could also be positive. It could be fast, well armed. In this system, ships with weapons are like highly regulated and fairly illegal, but that doesn't mean you can't hide them. It doesn't mean plenty of ships don't have them disguised and hidden. So bear that in mind as you are a mercenary crew. And so, Amber, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, so we took the Predator playbook for the ship, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um
Shout out to Doug. Everybody remember Doug?
Oh my god, flashback.
It's my hold music when my brain doesn't want to like function.
I get it.
Okay, I think the Enoch, when it's definitely a hand-me-down ship. I think specifically it's a hand-me-down ship. Who knows how many hands it's passed through, but we are not the first crew to have this ship, and we're definitely not the last. So I think that's like the through line.
Makes total sense. I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
Anya, what do you think about the Enoch?
I think that the interior has been retrofitted into a logical to them, to the crew structure that to an outside observer would make absolutely no sense.
I think that's very fitting. JD?
I think the piece I'm going to add is actually a combination of what Amber and Anya said, which is I think we can also see how other crews had added their own touches before we came. And it is this mixture of what the four of us have created and crafted and basically made it into our home on the inside, and also everything that has come before. So you can still see those touches throughout the ship.
All right. Perfect. And Steph?
I think probably with the Enoch, because it's been around and still holding together, it probably has a pretty solid defensive system that protects it and keeps it going and preserves it. So I think its defenses are definitely a key strength to the ship.
Very cool. Yeah, I like the idea. I think that plays really well into all of the other ideas. So it's kind of like all of the changes that have been made. Maybe the interior of the ship is much smaller than the exterior would suggest, and that's because there's so much plating that has been built into it as a protective shell, in essence,
I
from
like
the outside.
that.
Hell yeah. Okay, cool. I dig it. So as we pick up with the Enoch flying through space, engines humming, and probably not at max capacity or full burn or whatever you want to call it, but a good clip. I don't know where you'd be in the ship. And let's keep that same order. Amber, where would Quinn be? What do you see Quinn doing within the ship? Now there is autopilot, of course,
Mhm.
but somebody would need to be the pilot at times. Does not need to be all the time, of course, and it wouldn't necessarily have to be a dedicated role. Impulse drive is nice in so much that like there aren't skills that you have to roll
Mhm.
for doing jobs on the ship. It's the basic moves of any Powered by the Apocalypse game, so pretty much anybody could be any role on the ship.
Yeah. I I think I think as much as I would like to be like, "Oh yeah, they're piloting the ship right now." No. I think what they're doing more so is navigating. They're checking the path through which we're going to our next heist or next mission or whatever. Or and making sure that we're conserving as much fuel as possible.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what we see as we
Yeah.
start in the Enoch's cockpit
Yeah.
is, the control console that would normally be occupied by the pilot at this
Mhm.
moment, because you've been on such a journey for a while now, waiting for work to come in. It's it's on auto, of course. It's
Yeah.
it's on auto navigation. However, on a side console in that same room, kind of hunched over the control panel, running calculations and examining uh, the spaceways, calculating the distance to the next rail gate, probably,
Mhm.
so that you can save yourself some fuel. What do we see? Or who
Yeah,
do we see?
absolutely. Yeah, what you see is a very the way I described them is pocket-sized, mask presenting trans person. They, they're 5 foot even, like maybe 125 sopping wet, just small. But that's what makes them so good at being so stealthy. Um, Quinn is the infiltrator of the group. I imagine them being inspired by, yeah, like style-wise being inspired by actually, Will, it's so funny you brought it up in chat that was gonna be like Killjoy's era, My Chemical Romance. I was imagining like, very, whatever Frank Iero's, character was, very that.
Yeah,
Um, just swooped black hair, tight fitting clothing, flats at all times, but like a nice little bomber jacket just for its
Mhm.
form and fashion. Um, Probably like a deep sage green bomber jacket. But yeah, as they are, um, I don't want to say messing with but as they are working with the interface of the navigation system, there is. Um, there probably is also like a stool off to the side for them to use to like step on, just to reach some of the higher points. Just, it's always good to have accessibility. So yeah, they're just like running up and down on this stool probably to like reach all of the little buttons and all of the little pieces of the interface as quickly as possible. Um, yeah.
very cool. I very much love that. Anya, as
Yeah.
we move through the rest of the ship, we leave Quinn in the cockpit to their work. Where would Saber be?
I feel like Saber would be in the hold, basically, just like maybe not necessarily working out the way that most people would think of it, but like going through the motions. They have their very, very wicked dagger, which I will share with the audience if you can see that.
Very
Yes.
cool.
Love it.
Uh very much a that like I said, that's not a knife, this is a knife situation. And they're just going through drills and prepping. So Saber's pronouns are she, they. And they are very strange to many people. They have long pink, like pastel pink hair tied up in a hair tie. They have, I forgot the term again, but one purple eye and one black eye. Their
Heterochromia.
irises, yes. And sometimes can look a little bit uh, odd and off to people. It's a little bit off-putting their look, but they are all about that life and love to freak people out just a little bit. That's them.
Perfect. Uh, yeah, we see as we reach sort of that hold area of the Enoch, which I think is probably very compact. I'm picturing like low ceilings, even if the room itself is fairly sizable, just so that it takes up as little space as possible. This is not a cargo vessel, so space is definitely at a premium
Mhm.
between your well concealed weapon systems and extra padding around the outside of your ship. And so I'm picturing sort of like maybe like a martial arts drill, like a kata or something similar. Um,
Yeah. I know nothing
cool.
about martial arts, so I'm just
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
one of those things. I've seen it. I've seen the montages in a variety of shows.
Yeah,
Also, they
exactly.
are like they're pretty tall, so probably just a couple inches of clearance between their head and the roof.
Great. Um, yeah, okay, awesome. Leaving Saber behind to their practice, where would we find Zephyr in the ship?
Yeah, so I think at this time, Zephyr is in their room and is sitting on the floor, just coming out of what has probably been a 30-45 minute meditation. And they are sitting there, they are holding a medallion in their hand. And as they are in their own space, their hair is fully down, which means that there is just this wild mane of red, gold, yellow, orange hair that looks like a forest fire just cascading down their back, all the way to their hip. Um, and they're just breathing slowly, taking their time, and kind of centering themselves before they move to the next thing.
Perfect. I pretty much did my job for me. So yeah, it's very still and it's very quiet. Do they have any decorations on their room, in their room, or anything to like differentiate it from any of the other? I imagine the rooms are all pretty uniform by default, small. They probably just have like bunks that fold out of the wall, um, and very maybe like a desk like surface that's like bolted in, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think their room is a bit more decorated. I think that there is a painting that they have done on the wall. And I think it is kind of strange because we're in the middle of space and the painting is of the night sky and the constellations. Um, and the room is otherwise very like tucked in and things are put away, likely because of the character we have yet to introduce. But Zeph has learned that they need to keep items that they might not want others to interact with definitely out of sight. So I think everything else that is personal to them is tucked away. And I will say the last two things are, well, their hair is a vibrant color. Their clothes are very much neutral, like an off the shoulder shirt and just like very basic black pants. So not wearing anything that would draw too much attention to them. And since they are in their room, the other thing you would see are that their hands have the outlines of bones on them tattooed on. They always cover them with gloves when they go out, but that is something around the ship has been seen by the others.
Very cool. And where would we find I actually didn't ask. Scylla?
Scylla, yes.
Scylla.
Scylla is probably curled up in probably one of the portal windows that look out into space, just kind of watching the scenery go past and looking at her. It seems like she should be uncomfortable with how she's kind of like positioned in the portal because she's just in it, just pressed up against the glass, but she seems fine. And she also seems completely still, like no movement. So if you weren't looking for her, it would probably be easy to not notice her and then scare yourself when you did. Uh, she is pretty lanky. She has this kind of like um, kind of messy light brown hair and gray eyes and very pallid. Just has a very like washed out look to her. And appearance wise, she is in a blue t-shirt with a bunch of like sunny side up eggs on it, and it just says "Be excellent to each other." And like a open vest with just lots and lots of pockets, and tight fitting pants and boots. And she normally wears her green like leather fingerless gloves, but right now she kind of has them off and in her lap, so she can like kind of, the way she's pressed against the glass, just see if she can catch some of the starlight on the crystallization she's got going on the back of her hands. And that also goes on throughout her body, kind of like vitiligo, but it's crystallization.
Very cool. And because Scylla is reflecting on this and staring out the window, I think your eyes would also fall to the unique marking on your arm, and you remember, your mind kind of drifts back 2 years ago to this dingy, rundown London hotel that you were in. The world is a very different place. The planet Earth is a very different place in the wake of the founding of the moon colonies called Tranquility, pretty much for the rich and the famous, the privileged, who abandoned the planet as it started to fall to climate change and collapse under the weight of its own ambitions, coupled with the founding of the 5 Takamagahara space platforms that even more people immigrated to, leaving the Earth behind. The urban centers, the cities of the world, under the power of the Earth Party coalition, have expanded drastically. And while many countries no longer exist, they are still identified by the names of their largest cities. So the city of London, as it is referred to in this setting, in this present day, really is the entirety of the United Kingdom. And as such, this motel in some shady corner, clearly cheap, probably dangerous. Scylla wakes up on the bed with no memory of how you got here. And it's up to you if you remember anything from prior to that. This was 2 years ago. You absolutely can. But you get up, you look around the room, there's barely anything here, just the bed, just like a TV screen, a display screen built into the wall. Pretty much exactly what you'd expect from a dingy motel. Except there's a new addition on the outside of your arm. It's not a tattoo. It's not even a brand. It is slightly raised. And it just says, basically just the skin is slightly raised, and it spells out 8A83L. And you trying to get a grasp for your surroundings, leave the bed behind, step to the door of the room, open it, and peek out. Maybe not exactly at the same moment, but shortly thereafter, 3 other doors around yours, 2 across the hall, 1 right next to yours, open as well. And you see 3 strangers peering out, similarly confused. Never seen them before, but all of you don't remember how you got here or what it is you're doing here. And on the outside of your arms, similarly, you have that same mark, 8A,
Same exact.
83L.
Well,
That was 2 years ago. And since then, without really being sure what to do, and maybe in the hopes of being able to solve the mystery of why you were there in the first place and why you can't remember anything, you've more or less stuck together. You've become a crew, a very, very capable crew, and basically in the process discovered you were well suited for mercenary work. For a while, you worked for someone. For a while, you were basically a mercenary crew as part of this collective, which was kind of run by this shadowy individual. Nobody really knew what his actual name was, but pretty much everybody just referred to him as Mr. X. And you would get assigned jobs and tasks and carry them out. And for a while, that was fine. But at a certain point, maybe even recently, that's up to you, you got tired of following orders. You decided to strike out on your own, and you took the Enoch with you, which probably wasn't exactly yours to take. Ever since then, Mr. X has not been your biggest fan. You've had run-ins with other mercs in that time, in those 2 years. You've managed to get away or survive each time, but yeah, shows no signs of stopping. And at this point, you're not even positive if you could pay Mr. X enough to get him off your tail, or if he's out for blood. And that's how the past 2 years have passed for the crew of the Enoch. Leaving Scylla behind, peering out the window and reminiscing about what brought you all together, Quinn, as you're examining the console, poring over these calculations, you are reminded, and I think probably in the file structure of the Enoch systems, because out here in the black, away from either a railgate, which is kind of in addition to being the primary means of long distance space travel, each one is kind of an individual space station environment. Ships can dock there, crews can rest, et cetera, et cetera. Repairs are possible, although not cheap. When you're in the proximity of a of a railgate, or when you are planet side, of course, you can connect to the net, this big, information superhighway that pretty much everybody has access to in the system. But out here in the black, away from any of that, all you really have access to is the much more stripped down version called the link. Lacks a lot of the bells and the whistles. It allows, ship to ship communication, but strictly audio to audio and only within short distances of each other. You're able to get, small packets of information, but it's kind of the difference between using, an iPad and using like a classic Kindle, with like the e-paper display, and you can kind of do
Yeah.
some things on it, but it's not super easy.
Mhm.
However, one of the things you do still have on your system, even though you're connected to the link currently, is the communication record of the communication that you received at your last railgate stop, where your contact, you kind of reminisce to when this communication came through, and you received this hail. Well, it wouldn't be a hail, it wouldn't be a live communication, but it would be a recorded message that had been sent to you. And as the screen flicked on, you see this very tan and smiling face, long hair that is kind of shaved at the sides and then pulled up into like a messy bun at the back. Masculine features, dark eyes, and wearing a crop top, black shirt that has like some very faded logo on it, whether it's a band or something, you're not sure. But there are some tattoos along one arm and visible through what's visible through the crop top.
Mm-hmm.
And in the recording, this person who you know is Roddy. Roddy is a fixer that you have worked with for some time. Tends to be the main person who's been getting you jobs, and I think probably also was a freelancer who worked for Mr. X. Probably has not officially quit, but has not been taking jobs for Mr. X either since
Mm-hmm.
he started to work with you all. But he's your primary source of getting work. And you received this transmission. He's, a hacker. He has connections. He knows people. And this recording of him that you received maybe just a day ago or so, he says, all right, hello. I hope you're doing well, everybody. Roddy here. And I have, I think I found something. It's not work, unfortunately, and I'm sorry about that. But, well, look, I know you've all been after this, you see him, like, glance down at something, this 8A, 3L thing for as long as, we've known each other, and I've had feelers out for a long time, and I think I might have found something. I think I may have actually heard something big. And, it's weird. I'm just gonna preface that. I'm gonna give you a heads up. It's weird, and maybe that's not surprising given you lot, but, it seems to be this. I found these records, and it's this designation for some kind of coalition base. I mean, I think it's some kind of research facility, maybe, but the records aren't specific, and definitely I think it was definitely dark funded. Not sure it ever existed in an official capacity. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Pretty distinct moniker, though, and I don't think that's a coincidence. Probably worth an investigation at least. Anyway, if you've got questions, and just feel free to reach out. Send me a send me a message via link. I'll get it eventually. Or if you're gonna be at a gate, feel free to call. I'll try to give you what information I can. But I've attached everything I've got in the. I've attached everything I've got to this message. Yeah. Guess you're going. Guess you're going back to Earth.
Is this like an actual call or is it like a voicemail? Because I was
No,
operating
so
under the.
yeah, this would have been, I think, like a voicemail. Essentially, this would have been something that
Okay.
was sent out while you were out in, the black, and then you would have received when you were
Right.
able to. Um,
Okay, great.
yeah, and that kind of brings you back to the present day. Pulls you out of your memory, and that is the course that you are plotting currently at the navigation charts. You are
Mhm.
setting that course from where you are back to the Earth. And specifically, it looks like these coordinates that Roddy included in the message would put you somewhere in what was Russia.
All right. What are so? I think reminiscing on this moment, picking up on the piece that he said about attachments. I think I would Quinn would definitely be like, okay, hold on, attachments. Let's just make sure that we have all of that in order before we, disembark.
Yeah,
So,
the attachments, in addition to just being like geographical coordinates, are really just a few vague, mostly redacted reports. And in fact, not only are they redacted, but they are poorly redacted.
mm,
In the way that you are pretty sure, whether it's Roddy or whoever Roddy got this from, someone was attempting to parse it. Someone was attempting to unredact it, essentially, and did not have much success. A lot of it is still wiped out, but what was able to be uncovered was that 8A3L indicator, as well as the term uh, research base, and I think aside from that, just the word failure and dangerous.
hold on. Would you mind giving that one more time just so I can write this down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, what is unredacted is 8A83L.
Mm-hmm.
Research base, and then failure and dangerous.
Glad I'm not the only one who takes notes on one shots.
Yes.
100%.
I'm already on page 2.
I like am actively having issues with my ADHD lately, and so taking notes helped me like zero focus.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I think in this moment, well, howdy. I don't quite know exactly what's going on here, but fuck. Let me see if I can hold on. Let me see if I can dig into like the the metadata of these files just a little bit. And I would
Mhm.
actually like to use my infiltrator move, hacking and cracking. When you attempt to hack, break into, open, or otherwise compromise a lock or security system, discharge this move. I'm thinking like hacking into, like I said, the metadata here, and like more information on the back end of it. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
absolutely. I love that. Roll with slick.
Yeah. Hold on.
Um,
That is going to be a 10.
Oh.
Yeah.
Perfect. You break in with minimal fuss, so you have to choose one from the list. It's going to take a while to get in. You'll have to trigger an alarm or alert someone in order to get what you want, or you'll have to leave traces of your incursion behind that incriminate you.
I'm I think for this particular one, just because there is some slapdash like you know redacting, I think it's still gonna take a while to get in.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And that makes total sense because this is something that has already been tampered with by several people, maybe just
Hmm.
people slightly less qualified than you, if you had to guess. And, if Roddy had just given it to you right off the bat, maybe you could have done something with it. But, other people getting in there and messing around with it has really kind of caused your process to be disrupted. So
Yeah,
you can basically set up algorithms and things to run and work on it in the background, but you're not exactly sure how long it's going to take.
got it. Okay.
You are pretty confident though that there is more to glean.
Okay.
Has this information been shared with all of us at this point since we're on our way to? Okay.
I would imagine that I would have, once we got the message, I would have been like, hey, y'all, hold on. Like,
Okay.
we should all
Mhm.
be present for this transmission. But when it comes to like actually breaking into the files, that would be something that I would do like on my own time.
Okay.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So yeah,
Yeah.
you set that program up to run, and you can have it running off of a handheld, which is basically like the future's version of a smartphone for all intents and purposes. It's
Yeah.
still just a handheld device, probably a little more powerful and a little more capable.
Mhm.
And you're able to connect to it in different ways if you're so inclined. But yeah, you leave that running in the background essentially.
Yeah, I think at that point, I'm just going to like put the handheld in my back pocket and go on down to the mess hall and grab some snacks because it's snack time, baby. I've been up here for quite some time. Some astronaut ice cream sounds pretty good. Not gonna lie.
I was going to say, speaking of astronaut ice cream, it's been a little while since you've had a job, and probably even longer since you were anywhere with a decent, restock station. So, supplies are, you've got plenty of food. It's maybe just not everybody's first choices. Um,
Mhm.
Astronaut
wouldn't
ice cream
hurt
is
to,
shit. So yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
It's one of those things where like that's what you have, which is weird because you don't have to eat astronaut ice cream. That's just
yeah.
what you have here, and like uh, freeze dried, uh, freeze dried food. It's about what's left. So yeah, as you do that, as everybody else is, finishing up what they were working on, whether it's meditation practice or just regular contemplation, um, you would receive a notice. Does anybody have any thoughts about who would normally be piloting the ship when the time calls for it?
I hadn't had a thought of that.
Okay.
Anyone have a preference?
Doesn't
No preference. I mean, I feel like given that Scylla is prone to sometimes just going completely motionless and staring at things, she'd probably be a good one to
Mhm.
just sit in the seat and just be like, if anything happens, steer or yell.
perfect. Okay.
She can
So
stay still
in
for
that
a
case,
long
then
time.
perfect. In that case, then, Silly, you would receive, a little bit of a blip on your handheld, probably disrupting you from your reverie. That you are coming up on the rail station that you were heading towards. Um, and when you reach it, you'll be able to start riding the rails, which in this setting is how you travel long distances in space. It's basically this connected series of enormous ring-shaped space stations that are free floating, and constantly correcting their positioning in constant communication with one another. Um, they are essentially railguns. They are essentially railguns that shoot ships at dangerously high speeds to the next to the next rail station, and then beyond that, and then beyond that, and your systems are your ship systems are basically on autopilot during that time because no human pilot, as far as you're aware, no human pilot has ever been able to fly or ride the rails, as it's called, without navigational assistance. There's just way too much risk
Gotcha.
involved. So you're coming up on that. You get a little notification that you are going to be able to take that soon. And from there, it'll be a much shorter journey back to Earth. The rail network extends from Jupiter back to Tranquility, or what used to be Earth's moon. And so yeah, it'll spit you out less than a day's flight back to Earth.
I'm assuming when we get
So yeah,
thrown between the rings, we got to strap in, right? Because it's so
you
fast.
You do. There is an inertial subsystem that every ship has, or if it's older, has been retrofitted with that stops you from being turned into paste. But it's still not the most comfortable ride. You can move around the ship and do things as normal, but there's always this sort of weird feeling of like your stomach dropping.
Mhm.
Okay. In case I'll just kind of getting that notification, I'll just get on the intercom and just be like, Getting close to the rails. Just to give everyone a heads up.
Perfect. You all receive that notification. It probably just, the PA system on the ship as it is clicks on with a little bit of a whine and some feedback as it's old and you've inherited this ship secondhand. But then you hear Scylla's voice letting you know. And Scylla, are you making your way up to the cockpit?
Yeah.
Okay.
No one else is doing that. She will just climb on up there.
Perfect. Yeah. You do so. You take the pilot's seat. You probably pass Quinn in the galley in the process, snacking. But assuming you don't interrupt them, you take your seat at the pilot seat, and out of the front viewport of the Enoch, you do see the rail station coming up fast. Giant ring made of like tarnished metal at this point, and at different points around it, you can see various builds of ships that have connected to it that are docked currently as people are resting or restocking or refueling. You're drawing closer to it, kind of relieved that your journey might be pretty smooth from this point on. When I think I'm going to need you to roll for me.
Okay. Oh
I
boy,
think,
We hate those words.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No,
we
love rolling.
Take a look.
Yep.
You take a look at some of the you're looking at the rail station as you're coming up on it, and you can roll to scope it out as you're examining it.
That's just 2d6, right?
It is 2d6.
That is an 8.
Okay. With an 8 is very good, and you can do. Your perception is a little dull. You can ask one question if you have the basic move sheet up.
Yeah, let me just pull that up real quick.
While
No
she's
problem.
doing that, will the stream is apparently labeled incorrectly? Okay.
Yeah, I just fixed it.
Okay.
But thank you. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Justin. I appreciate that too. I didn't even know we were playing Celeste.
It's pretty clear how to use the rail system. You just go through and then it tosses you.
Basically, yeah, as you key up to start riding it, it will like kick on and basically override your systems.
Gotcha. Okay, so I know how it works. So
I think in this case, I would recommend maybe what should I be on the lookout for?
I was about to say
Since this
that
was a roll I asked
actually,
you to
yeah.
make. Perfect. And yeah, I mean, what you should be on the lookout for, I think, becomes evident pretty quickly as one of the ships that you can see attached to the ring gate. I'm so sorry, OB. I just noticed you there.
Buddy.
No.
Oh,
Hello, Obi.
big buddy.
As the we're done.
I know that move.
As you're looking out at the rail station with relief, one of the ships seems to release its docking and starts floating away from the rail station. But as it does so, you kind of notice that on the side of the ship, it's demarcated with a and it starts redirecting its position, clearly making a beeline right for the Enoch.
Cool. Just gonna
What do you do?
get on the intercom. I'm gonna hit the intercom and be like, Mr. X is still mad at us, right?
Very
Nothing's
much
changed,
so.
right? Cool, this is gonna be fun.
So.
He really needs to take a chill pill. But,
He does. He wasn't using the ship we were. It's ours. Don't know why that's so hard to understand. Anyway, I'm gonna hit speed.
And Saber, hearing all of this, is going to go wherever it is that like a defensive thing would be on the ship, whether it be guns or whatever, just to like strap it and be like, let's protect ourselves, because she's heard this tone of voice before and knows what to expect.
Mhm.
I just see one so far, but
Absolutely.
it undocked and it's on its way.
Yeah.
So I think with that, it's very cool to me that this sort of practice room that Saber uses, and maybe other people use too. That's totally fine. But this practice room, there's like a rack of weapons on one side of it. Probably a few firearms and things like that, but more like swords and archaic weaponry that Saber's maybe collected over the years, and
Oh yeah.
that actually I think slides away to reveal basically the weapon station of your ship,
I like
as it
it.
is all very concealed and secret. So I'm picturing that this is actually sort of like the area right under the cockpit, and so you also have like a secondary viewport that's kind of like a one-way mirror where you can see out, but like it doesn't look like a viewport from the outside of the ship, and
I
that
love that.
there's a separate chair in there where you can control the weapons.
Perfect.
Awesome. So, you're taking your battle station as this other ship is making a beeline straight for you. What is Zephyr doing?
I think Zephyr is going to join.
Wouldn't hurt.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So you're making your way up to the cockpit. Saber's taking a weapon station. Quinn,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Quinn probably is also going to take up. Do we have 2 weapon stations or 1?
I think we can probably say you have 2. Let me double check here. I think the Predator, if I remember correctly, does come with a weapon of some
Oh.
kind. If I'm not
Actually, no,
mistaken.
because I'm bad at volatile. I am actually bad at volatile. I think what would manipulate be best suited for?
So I think you could make a case.
Steering?
How are you? Maybe. Yeah. I mean, well, slick is generally speaking to steer and do dexterous things. I
Yeah.
assume you mean you're really good at calculating. Is that your highest label? Is that what you mean? Or approach rather?
My
in
highest
Impulse
label
Drive?
is my highest approach is slick.
Hmm.
So
That would be very good for piloting
yeah.
generally, yeah.
Yeah. Then yeah, I think at this point I'm probably going to be like, oh my god, this motherfucker. Fine. And then drop.
Yes.
She's like, get out of traffic, but you're in the walkway and the light is green.
Perfect. Speed walking. Yeah. And it's not like your ice cream is going to melt.
Yeah.
It'll just be waiting for you when you get back.
No.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. So you are, so basically like most of you are convening at the cockpit, and then Saber, you are just taking on the weapon stations.
Yeah.
So perfect. The ship is definitely going to continue basically full burning towards you. What is your plan here? Are you planning to face them head on, try to run, dogfight? What's your thoughts?
Scylla's plan was to just book it for the ring because she would like to see Earth again. It's been a while. She's very excited.
All right. In that
I would agree with that assessment.
Yeah,
Like,
Zephyr agrees as well.
And
Scoot.
I would say, like, if there, because we've had to deal with this before, if there's a chance that they keep pushing for us, is there a possibility that there could be like some kind of like space grenade that they like bloop, leave behind them as they
Parting gift.
shoot off? Yes.
I think that is very fair to say, and I think you can do that. Yeah. So we would probably call that
Like
missiles.
Mario
Basically,
Kart.
you get 2 upgrades starting with the Predator. And if you have a grenade or a missile
Okay.
floating there, and in the hopes that it. So you're gonna have to roll to act quick. How does this relationship work between Scylla and Quinn? Is it like when you're doing long distance flying, Scylla is, on the pilot seat, and then Quinn takes over in combat situations? Or do you switch off, or how does that normally work for y'all, do you think?
I feel like Scylla's pretty bad. If she didn't, Scylla will just keep going. Scylla just tends to wing it, so that can come with a variety of results.
Floor?
Yeah, in case Quinn needs help, and she can keep
I,
walking.
and I feel like that's like then also Zephyr's role is to like make sure that if Scylla needs
Scylla's
to
not in the
strap
way.
in, like to get Scylla out of the way, and also to like make sure if she needs to be strapped in, she's strapped in.
I imagine Scylla is helpful for reaching the like buttons that I can't.
Yep.
Yes.
She's very flexible. She can get all over the place.
Yeah, like it's you'll probably just like, all right, press the green one, all right, and the yellow, and yeah,
Yep. Well, uses her foot to like kick one too.
I wish I could do that shit.
It's fun. We can practice. I keep offering we can practice.
What?
That's
And
a good question. Is there like
twisting?
Like twisting?
I'm picturing
there
Scylla
like a-
trying to elongate.
She's kind of like a contortionist, so she could probably bend over backwards and put her head between her ankles. That kind of flexible.
Thinking about that.
She's fine. She thinks it's comfy.
Yeah.
Some positions are better than others, but
You're taking the seat, Quinn, and as you do so, I think that there is a communication line that is going to be at least requested from this approaching ship to your comms console, the same one that you were using to chart your navigational course. So Zephyr, if you or Scylla want to, you can switch that on, but totally up to you.
I think Zephyr will.
Okay. Cool. And you can pipe that through to the weapon station as well in the process. I think by default that's how the system works. So yeah, you hear out here, you're on the link, so it's audio only. There's no face attached to it, but you hear a gruff voice come over the comm and say, Enoch, this is Valkyrie, and just wanted to say this ain't personal.
Everything you do feels personal. Over.
I hear that, and I have like guns prepped. Whatever it is that I need, I am fully prepared to shoot. And I can see them, so. Are they making aggressive maneuvers at us?
Not
With
yet.
that
They're
comment?
still sort of interposed.
Okay.
They're still sort of just in your way. But, the voice says again, after a pause, look, don't have to do this the hard way. Just shut down. We'll come on board. Take you to talk to Mr. X.
What makes you think we would do that?
Well, on account of if you don't, we're gonna blow you out of the sky.
That suggests we think you actually could do something like that.
And you kind of hear the person on the other end. You can tell that they've leaned back from the microphone. Their voice is a little bit quieter, and you can tell that they're actually talking to their crew as they say, well, talking part's over, and it cuts off like halfway through the last word as
Okay.
they start to power up their weapons.
Okay, I do
So
the same.
perfect. Weapon system
And
powering
I'm
up. You kind
assuming
of
that
hear
I
this
have a mic
hum.
so that we can talk back and forth.
Definitely, yeah. You all have these like comm units that pretty much every translators. So like if you don't speak the same language as somebody, not an issue. It kind of just filters all of that into the language that you do speak. But you are also able to link to others and be in contact with each other.
Okay. So I'm just going to like shoulder to the head ear thing. I don't know if you need to touch it, but assuming you do. Hey, are we shooting these guys?
I mean, they're gonna be shooting us regardless, so why not? Why not fight fire with fire?
Yep. You fly us out of here. I got them.
Hell yeah.
All right. So with that, Quinn, you start to open up the Enox systems, probably go to hard burn and roll with slick. You're gonna act quick.
Hold on. How to math? 8?
8. Perfect. Okay, you do it, but you are gonna have to choose one. So
Where is this? Hold on.
this would be in the
On the ship?
player handout.
Oh, this would be in the
Sorry, no,
player handout? Oh, okay.
you
All right.
use the same moves for the ship. It just has like different systems, and that's where you track damage and stuff.
Hold on, Will. I'm so sorry. Where
You're good.
where should I find this? Like in the player handout, you said?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be under basic moves. Basically,
Okay.
you use the same moves for piloting a ship that you do for anything else. So, like, act quick would be to like
Oh,
dodge a laser
okay.
blast, but it would also be to like pilot a ship out of danger.
Okay, all
The
right.
fourth one down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like I said, my
No, you're good.
brain is real fucked up today. Okay, act quick. Okay, I think with this it would be I think we're left off balance and rushed, so disadvantage going forward makes the most sense.
Okay, cool. Perfect. So I'm going to apply that disadvantage to the ship as a whole. So what's going to happen is as you start to maneuver around them, they're going to follow suit. They're going to try to keep themselves interposed between you and the ship. However, I think you can probably manage to break past them. If you want to describe what that looks like, as these two ships are kind of like wavering back and forth around each other, if you want to describe what you do to get past them, absolutely feel free.
Yeah, for sure. So I think when Quinn takes over the like the pilot chair, they have like they they have like a set of sunglasses that they kind of keep in like a
Yeah.
compartment just for extra cool factor, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, of course.
So, so they like they floor it, which, lends itself to that whole like left off balance and rushed kind of piece. So, the whatever switches and mechanisms required to like push this bucket of bolts as hard as they can, they enact that and ask ask Saber, I mean not ask Saber, ask Scylla, sorry, to just
many F
flick
names.
too many It's too early in the morning, y'all.
Very early.
To like fucking flip every switch needed.
Yep.
And so what the ship actually does, it lurches at first. You know, when you press like the gas on a car a little bit too quickly and it like jerks a little bit. That's what happens at first when they hit like that speed. But then it like, you know, it kind of has a couple false starts and then the ship just flies forward, just extremely like just in a straight line, probably narrowly missing the other ships ahead, but you know, it looks cool cinematically, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's true. It's absolutely
Yeah.
true. Yeah, there's probably a moment where probably Scylla and Zephyr, maybe Quinn too, depends on how confident you are in this, are bracing yourselves because it looks like you're about to collide with this and you miss it by inches. You like pass
Yeah.
by this ship as it lurches, the ship with the red X painted on it, as the ship lurches to one side. You barely skirt by it, and as you do so, that ship, the other ship, pulls its own fancy maneuver. That ship is going to apply some inertial thrusters at the front of it that kind of start to slow it down, bring it to a full stop, but it's going to do it, and then it's going to turn off one of them. It's got two in the front, turns off one of them, which forces it to start to rotate. Other retro thrusters along the side kick in and sort of slow its spin so that it pretty much finds itself through this bit of fancy piloting now facing you for pursuit. But in the process of doing that also, as it comes to face you, brings the front of the ship to bear against you, its own weapon systems are going to kick on, and it is going to fire at you, or at least attempt to. So in this particular case, I am going to say that it is firing, it would be firing like missiles at you. So you can see like two panels on the front slide open and two missiles range. It's pretty rude. It is rude. I'm not going to lie. But in this case, I think you were gonna take the hit. I will. Yeah, this is gonna be the result of the act quick roll. So
Okay.
yeah, so you do get past them. You do accomplish your objective. However, you are going to take the hit. The missiles don't strike the hull exactly. They go off right before that as they hit the fuel trail of your ship. But it is enough that the force is going to still detonate, and your ship is going to take, I think, two damage. Your ship is hit. So so you're going to take superficial damage as the explosion sort of rocks against the side of it. And then you're going to take a direct hit as some shrapnel is going to hit one of your engines. So any roll that uses a ship system, which would include weapons, is going to be at disadvantage. That said, you already have disadvantage from forward. So it's kind of, you're not taking double disadvantage. You're just going to take disadvantage.
Thank you.
That's good.
Very
that being said,
kind.
the missile yeah, thank you. I do my best. So Anya, I assume you're going to want to fire back.
Oh yeah, of course. And is this firefight?
It would be firefight if you're using, and we can say you're using your own missiles.
Yes.
Since you said you wanted to.
Yeah. So I'm
blow
rolling
stuff up.
3d6, taking the lower
And you're
two.
gonna two lowest, yes.
Yeah, so 5 plus what? Volatile?
5 plus volatile.
Okay, so 7 total.
Okay. That is not bad. 7 is a success, so that is very good news.
Just barely. Just
So
barely a success.
you're going to exchange harm, and you're going to be able to choose one from the firefight list of firefight, not firefight, firefight list of options. It's so early. Have we said how early it is?
Too early.
I mean, it's 5 p.m. for me. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Have the discharge tag, but you can take evasive action if you want to.
Yeah.
Because basically the way firefight works is you shoot each other, you exchange harm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and taking evasive action would mean that they would have disadvantage on the next attack, or...
taking evasive action means that you suffer one less harm than what they would do to you.
Oh, okay, I got you. The wording on
Yeah.
that line is particularly confusing.
It
So
is kind of weird, yeah.
yeah, I would say because those engines, though, let's go for the take evasive action and suffer one less harm. So we only have
Perfect.
one harm instead of two on the
Okay.
ship.
Cool. Yeah. So you fire back, and do you have thoughts about like where these missiles are coming from, or how you're doing this?
Well, I would say that they are. I I can't visualize the ship at all. My apologies. Like I have
No, you're
the
good.
vague visualization of us being stacked on top of each other, and that's basically
Yeah.
it. So they're going to come from the sides and like go straight and maybe and what is it, like anti-missile, where like the missile shoots another missile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
So aiming for that, I would say, to avoid one of them.
Perfect. Okay, yeah. You discharge a couple of these missiles. One with the purpose to hit the one of theirs that was flying at you, still, and then the other one to strike them. So, yeah, you managed to do both of those things. You managed to very impressively knock one of their missiles out with your own, and then simultaneously another one. Kind of, this explosion goes off between your two ships, and as it starts to clear, as the you know debris and force start to be like quelled by the vacuum of space, your second missile kind of flies straight through that cloud and hits the front of their ship. I'm going to say pretty much dead on, dealing harm to them as well, dealing 2 damage to their ship, which you can see them kind of jolt from taking that hit and start to list, but they correct very quickly.
Okay.
All right, cool. What is the plan? If Scylla or Zephyr would like to try to do something here, you're welcome to. But if this is mostly between Quinn and Saber, that's totally fine.
No, I think Zephyr would like to do something here. I think Zephyr would like to open that comm link up again and see if they can get back in touch with the other ship.
Yeah. I mean, you can absolutely do it. You would hear. I think the only indicator really would be you'd hear like the crackle, and then you'd be able to hear some chaos and yelling in the background on their ship.
And I think Zephyr appreciates that and is like, listen, you do not want the 4 of us as your enemies. You can stand down now. But if you don't, it's going to get a hell of a lot worse.
Okay. Sounds to me like you're trying to intimidate.
That would be correct.
All right. So how about you roll with volatile?
I would love to.
Yes.
As I throw a die on the floor.
Woo!
Yep.
I'll re-roll the other one. All right, that is a 9.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So with a 9, you can choose one of the above, or they can choose one of the following. Okay. I think they are going to. That's a very good roll. So I do, and given everything that just went down, I think they are going to give you something they think you want, which
Ooh.
I think there is silence on the other end for a minute. You hear this sort of muffled, like scraping noise, like somebody is covering a microphone. And then a few seconds later, you hear that same voice from before that comes back on and says, well, shame you were too fast for us to catch up to, Enoch.
Ooh.
That is a shame.
We'll have to note that in the report, and don't say we never did nothing for you.
We won't forget this.
The other ship that has the X branded on the side starts to decelerate, slow down, and you're able. The distance between the two of you starts to expand. Your ship is still a little bit damaged. Still got some warnings going off, blaring throughout the ship, but you are able to continue flying. Absolutely. You're not dead in the water by any means.
Good.
Hell yeah.
All right. Yeah. Mercenaries not known for their loyalty, not the most loyal of people. So
Mm-hmm. And if it looks like they're gonna get hurt, they're gonna choose not to.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable.
it's true. So yeah, leaving that conflict behind with your ship, you can perform spot repairs to undo some of your damage that you've currently taken. Basically, that's just a narrative thing. You just describe how you do it. If there are no immediate pressures and you have plenty of time.
Yeah, just fucking grip it, baby. Slop that
Thank
down,
you
dude.
so much for
Yes.
negotiating.
Dude, crack one for the big boy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shout out to Paget Escalar, the only person in history who's actually known to have piloted the rail network without assistance. That was Julia's character.
Legend.
So I'm going to assume, Julia, that was your donation, and thank you.
Yeah.
And basically, yes. So yeah, you can perform spot repairs on the direct hit that you have taken. Try to redirect some subsystems and things to get it flying as it should be again. And you would negate that disadvantage. So we can just say that you do that. We can describe it if you want to. Do you think anyone on the crew specifically has like better technical knowledge, or is the one normally doing these repairs?
Oh, definitely not me. God, no.
That's fair. That is
Saber's
very
more
fair.
of the fighter type than the technological stuff,
Mhm.
I would say.
That makes sense.
I mean, I think Zephyr can. I think you also just know it depends on what mood they're in, and there are times where they probably should not be allowed near anything that might go wrong and have things escalate and get much, much worse. So I feel
That's
like it
fair.
might be a little bit of tag teaming between Scylla and Zephyr.
Scylla loves learning new things, so she's happy to help.
Yeah. Where, like, if things are clearly getting heated, Scylla can, like, jump in and take over and not have Zeph, like, make something explode.
Amazing. So yeah, you redirect some subsystems, you reroute some power. Your slightly damaged engine kicks back onto full strength. You'll need to get some repairs done eventually, but for now, everything is working perfectly fine. And you hear a voice over your systems as you kind of come about approaching the rail gate and line up to start riding the rails. This little voice clicks on. It's clearly sort of automated. It sounds like a woman's voice, but it says in very cheerful, bright tones, now entering the rail network. Thank you for riding the rails. And at that moment, your systems are basically overridden by the rail network itself. You don't have the ability to stop this from happening. It is absolutely a necessity. And yeah, your ship kind of glides forward on approach. And as you hit the rail gate itself, you hear the hum all around you. It's like a twofold hum, because first there's the hum of that like magnetic force kind of compressing in on your ship, and then there's also the hum, more of a whir probably, of your inertial subsystems kicking on in the ship itself that stop you from being knocked off of your feet. And if you have if you are looking out the viewport as this starts to happen, there's the very alarming sensation of just watching the world around you melt away as you start flying at speeds nearly impossible for your senses to perceive. On to the next railgate. And I think with that, it's probably a good time for us to take our break.
Yes.
As you fly through the rail gates on your way to Earth. It's going to kick you out right outside of Tranquility. Good job not getting blown up, everybody.
Yay! We solved the not getting blown up
part.
puzzle.
Yes.
Yeah.
You did. All right, cool. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thanks so much for donating. We'll see you real soon. Hello, everybody. We are back. We are raising money for Extra Life. We are playing a space game. How y'all doing out there?
Yeehaw.
My video is no longer mirrored. There we go. Cool. All right. Hi. We're going to get back into it. Like I said, we're raising money for Extra Life. If you're just joining us, you can hit ! donate in the chat and give some money to Children's National Hospital in DC. We are over halfway to our goal. Feel free to kick in if you would so like. We're going to keep on rocking with Impulse Drive.
Children's National, that's literally a mile from me. Not doxing myself, but there's
not you doxing yourself. Fun anecdote, they stopped by the stream last night apparently when we were playing Wheel Breakers.
Holy shit.
Nice.
The Children's National Extra Life Twitch account popped in and said hi, and I think they donated like $5, which brought us up to the 1,200 mark, which was very sweet.
That's so cool.
Yeah. They're probably not watching this morning, which is fine. But thank you so much.
That's fair.
They got kids to help with.
Exactly. Very busy things. All right, cool. So yeah, basically when the Enoch is riding the rails, flying through the rail network, there's really not much you need to do to keep an eye on it. Everything is automated. Everything is pretty much self-directed. The ship, the link that you have with the rail network itself connects you to every other ship that is riding the rails in a way where it's constantly adjusting for positioning. So like if you are riding the rails and another ship is riding the rails and you're like near each other, then the automated system is going to correct for that and start to move your ships farther apart. And then same thing if there's like something that drifts into the path, it's going to autocorrect to direct you around it. Basically just calculating all of these important flight details that a human being would either not be able to or would just have a very, very hard time with. So pretty quick. Pretty quick overall. I gotta acknowledge the pets.
Yeah.
Nancy.
Oh my god, that cat is so big.
So fluffy.
Big orange. Oh, potato.
Pet hour.
She is not awake.
Is the rest of the stream.
Why are you snapping? Stop snapping at the curtains. She does this. Stop.
Goodness.
You don't need to assert dominance. Stop it.
Yeah.
Sam,
I
look
don't
at
know
this
what those
pug.
curtains have been saying.
They apparently talk shit to her every day. She has to assert
Sam.
dominance.
Sam, look at this pug.
He needs to see this pug.
Is he
It's
coming to
such
look
a
at it?
good pug.
Look at
Kind of
this.
staring into the void right now.
Oh.
All right, listen. That's my whole vibe this morning. That
Yeah,
was
we
me
all
like
do.
2
Put us
hours
in
ago.
mood.
Huh?
It's a good pug.
It's a good pug.
Yeah,
With
Good
Get
pug.
it's a very good
Get
pug.
the Sam, my husband, seal of approval.
Stamp.
Excellent.
Samp of approval. I
The
don't know.
the stamp of approval.
Incredible.
Well,
Excellent, Will. A+.
Thank you. All right. So yeah, it's a couple of days, probably. Maybe we'll say one. You were not that far off from Earth when you started riding the rail network. So it's about a day that you are in transit. You're not burning fuel or anything while this is going on, so you're conserving your supplies, and that's very good. As we've established, you are kind of running low on some things.
Mhm.
But you get a notification right around like, we'll say noon of the next day. You start to get an alert that you are approaching your destination on the network. And because it is the last stop on the rail network, it pretty much spits you out right into proximity of Earth itself. So you kind of see it approaching in the viewport as you're flying along at incredible speeds. And all of a sudden your ship kind of slows to a stop as you clear that last ring, which is directing its pulse more to stopping you than it is to flinging you, and brings you to a halt, and you find yourself floating. The Earth is in front of you, and while it's still that same blue-green ball, there are visible differences. Probably not to you as you've grown up in this, world, this society, but like it looks different. There are stretches with more storm coverage. There are the blues and the greens are maybe a little diminished, a little less vibrant. And there is most notably, as you float there and you're kind of taking everything in for a second, there is tranquility off to one side, as the tranquility is the tranquility are the ones who built the rail network. So that last rail pretty much is like right next to tranquility itself. So you can see the moon, or what used to be the moon, as it's covered in these like shining dome cities over 90% of its surface. Then there's the Earth, and in orbit around the Earth, there are some fields of debris, but more importantly, there are these massive orbital platforms that you know as to be the Takamagaharas. Takamagahara 1 through 5. And they're massive, they're enormous, they're the size of countries, and they similarly, for the most part, have cities on top of them as well. The upper topmost level, kind of similar to Tranquility, is this sort of domed urban environment. You can kind of see some of the inside of it, but for the most part, those ones are fairly opaque. And yeah, you kick your engines back on, and you start making for the coordinates that you were given for this weird research facility by Roddy. Now that you are in proximity to both Tranquility, Takamagahara, the Takamagaharas, and the Earth, you can connect to the net. So now you have access to that big framework of information, basically the internet. And you know that you have a couple of options now from this point on. The standard practice for most people trying to visit the Earth is to sort of use one of the Takamagaharas as a staging area, basically to dock with a Takamagahara, leave your ship there, and then they're connected to a major city on the Earth via space elevator.
I love it.
Sweet.
Obviously, this is the easiest way to do it, or the safest way to do it, just because breaking atmosphere, landing a spaceship can be very damaging to your ship. There are a lot more risks that pieces might fall off, that you might take some damage. It's not a pleasant experience either. However, if you are going to dock at Takamagahara and take the space elevator down, then you're going to have to log yourself. There's going to be a record. You're not going to have your ship with you. You're going to be separated from it. So it's up to you what you want to do. I will also say that I think the closest Takamagahara to the area that used to be Russia would probably be the one in orbit over Sydney. Probably either the one in orbit over Sydney or the one in orbit over Nigeria. So, not particularly close, but you could get from either of those cities to your destination. It would just become a question of charting things. The other option is to just try to land your ship.
Hey, Scylla, you want to take over?
Yeah.
I think that you are best suited for this. Bit of navigation and bit of landing. I trust your abilities.
To land on the planet?
Do whatever you need.
Because I don't want him to take the ship back. So I'll.
Yep. I mean, so yeah, they're like that's definitely a factor to consider. However, like the ship is keyed to you all. It belongs to you. They could physically take the ship back, but they wouldn't necessarily be able to pilot it or like get inside it, at least without not doing some significant damage to it. The issues are more just like there would, there'd be like knowledge that you were here. There'd be knowledge of your identity. Whereas if you can sneak in the back way, it's just a little more difficult and dangerous.
What's our fuel situation?
It's not ideal, but you have enough, and you can always refuel after you do the job if you need to.
Okay.
Question: the disadvantage that we were rolling with earlier, has that been cleared because it's been several days?
It's been cleared because the one that they got from the one that was given from you, only getting a partial success, was just disadvantage forward. So that's basically just like one.
Okay.
It's not disadvantage ongoing.
Okay.
And then the other disadvantage was from your ship being damaged, and you did spot repairs on that. So that's clear.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to. Yeah, I think I misinterpreted it as ongoing. Okay, cool.
I did too, so
yeah.
No problem.
All right. So here, Scylla, I can try to stealth us through, and it would take a little bit longer probably for us to get through unnoticed. Or if you want to take a more direct approach, that works too. But I would love your input on this.
Well, let's see. It would probably be, in theory, harder to travel by person if we took the elevator down, because we're going to have to pay. And judging by the fridge, I think we were running low on funds. So, and we did pretty decent repairs. So I'm willing to just go directly to the source, so to speak. Because if it's a research facility, it shouldn't be. Do you know if it's like in a city center, or is it like away, like, the research facilities that are doing secret stuff in movies usually are?
That's a great question.
Was that a question for me or for Will?
That was Scylla talking to. Yeah, for you.
Oh, fuck. Okay. All right. Because Amber, don't know how to fucking answer that question, honestly.
No, so you have access now to the net, so you can try to essentially space Google Map it and try to zoom in as much as possible to the coordinates.
Also, I have that program.
Oh,
that I've probably been running in my back pocket. Yeah,
you have been running that program in your back pocket.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I'll say at this point, I'll give you some of it. I'll say that it's partially decoded at this point.
Okay.
And what it will tell you is that this was where it says research facility, or where that was unredacted. Now you've cleared a little bit of the qualifying text around it that now is going to specify that it was okay, that it was within an urban center.
Hmm.
I think I'll say that it specifies that it is an abandoned urban center.
Okay. And it's an abandoned urban center that we know was a research base, and it's a dangerous failure.
According to that document, yeah. And that those words dangerous and failure were not next to each other. They were just the two words that had been able to be unredacted. So
Okay.
it's not necessarily a dangerous failure, but something about it was both dangerous and a failure.
And a failure.
Mhm.
4 stars out of 5. So all right. Well, okay. So here's my concern is because this base, it's in an abandoned city center. It is not particularly the most it's not on the one hand, it probably could be extremely deserted, and we could probably just get in and go in undetected because it's abandoned. However, sometimes with abandoned shit, there's always going to be some rent-a-cop or whatever that's going to be keeping watch over. Well, like
Oh,
a
security.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. I couldn't remember the term. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So it's either gonna be completely dead or some fucking Paul Blart ass motherfucker. Uh,
Paul
I
Blart has
like
stood the test of time.
references. Paul Blart does stand the test of time. If there's one thing that survived from 2009, it's
Paul
Paul
Blart.
Blart Mall Cop.
Totally.
So he even has like a space type name. Anyway, so I feel like Blart would be an alien name.
Yeah.
So so bearing that in mind, also the fact that this place is pretty dangerous, apparently. Yeah, we should probably stealth in.
So, like, with the ship, stealth in.
For that extra bit of cushion, I think it might be the best course of action.
Okay. So I will go directly to the source.
Yeah.
Okay. I will.
Right? Someone tell me otherwise. It doesn't feel right, but it feels like it's the only plan we got.
I like it. I miss the feeling of mud, so I would really like to go back for a visit.
Saber is just chilling, basically, I guess, in the weapons area because that's where their seat is. But so they're on the intercom with y'all, and they're just like, you do realize that a giant spaceship is not particularly stealthy, right? So even if it's abandoned,
Yeah.
if there is someone there, they will probably notice a giant spaceship. Is there
I'm
any
not
way
known
that
for
we
my
could
intellect.
be a little further away
Is
from
there like a clearing in a forest?
Yeah,
we
you
won't know
can.
until we get there.
Right. Basically, yeah, it's between like landing the ship on the planet and landing the ship on a Takamagahara platform. Where
Mhm.
you landed on the planet, completely up to you.
Yeah.
I'd
So
say
I
planet.
definitely agree planet is going to be the most logical option. Especially since we don't want anyone to know that we're here.
Sounds good to me.
Perfect.
I will. What am I rolling for this?
You're going to set your approach and you're going to start to land. And I think in this case, you're going to have to keep your cool. Because this is more of a more of a marathon than a sprint, right? So you're going to be at the controls for a while. You're going to have to do this more or less manually just to be safe. So roll with stalwart.
It's a +1, so it's a 10.
Ooh.
Holy
All
shit.
right, on a
Nice.
10. On a 10, you do it with minimal cost, and it does not cost you anything. So
Nice.
you can absolutely pilot it down. There are the standard, concerns of breaking atmosphere that you have to account for. The ship
Mhm.
starts to shake violently. You can see the heat building up around it from the friction as you enter the atmosphere. But once you're in the atmosphere, your ship is definitely not built to be flown planet side, but you're just landing and there's nothing wrong. Nothing too terribly difficult about that.
Yes.
You can bring the ship down directly outside of the urban center as you see it. As your ship is coming down, you see the city center itself. You're not sure what city this once was, but it has largely been abandoned. As is clear, it's in a state of decay. Most of the buildings are like half fallen over, um, or completely destroyed in and of themselves. You don't know how long ago this city was thriving, or at least existing, and populated, but you'd guess it's been a long, long time. You set the ship down outside, right outside of it. It sounds like,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then
Hopefully far enough away that if there's anyone there, no one would notice us. Maybe.
yeah,
Some place that has
I think
some sort of cover, like behind a hill or something.
extremely, extremely fair, extremely good. So yeah, you can, you bring the ship down and land it, and it's a little bit, it's still probably steaming when you get off of it, when you disembark, but yeah, you're now in what used to be Russia, outside of an abandoned city. There's a like fine layer of snow over everything, not enough to like obscure the ground. It's more of a dusting, but that is around you. And I'm going to say that you are like not in the woods per se exactly, but there is dense foliage around you. You like landed just within that sort of ring where it hasn't managed to quite overtake everything yet. Um, but over the wreckage of the city, there's definitely there are definitely things growing. Definitely like ivy creeping up and weeds and things like that. And that is where you find yourselves. What do you do?
Saber has pulled out quite a few of the weapons and has just loaded everything up. Anyone?
Thanks.
Yeah, and I think similarly, Zephyr has put on more like tactical gear type clothing and has grabbed, I'm gonna say, their pistol and a couple grenades.
And yeah, keep in mind, like you don't have to define your loadout right now. You can, or you can change it and modify it as you go through, depending on what you want to spend your gear slots on. But yeah.
Yeah, and my mystic weapon is separate from my gear slots. It's an additional thing. So just
So I have a signature move called the start. No, not the startup. The setup. When you use your contacts. I'm struggling. Holy
You're good.
fuck.
Okay.
When you use your contacts, charm, skills, or gadgets to prepare for a covert incursion into hostile territory, roll plus slick. I think this would probably be a good time for that. To like scope out the area. I probably have like a little like, you know, I probably have in the past like on this, handheld like a scanner, like a radar or something type thing, and I would like to do that, to do like a scan of the area to see like, okay, where are some probably clearer points of entry.
Absolutely. Roll with calculating.
Okay. Would it be calculating or would it be slick?
So I think you're
'Cause this
scoping it
move-
out. Oh, you're doing
Yeah.
this setup, right? Sorry, I forgot.
You're good.
Yes, so that you'd be able to do with slick. Absolutely. Sorry.
Okay, cool. No, you're good. I'm like I said, I'm having major brain issues today. So, okay, that's gonna be a 7. So I get to ask 2.
Yep.
Okay. Where are defenses and security strong here?
Okay. So scanning the area, you do detect you detect a couple of different things. The first thing I'll tell you is that you can tell just from your initial sweep that there are active cameras spread throughout the remains of this wrecked city.
Mhm.
They are showing up on your scan. However, I will also let you know that they don't appear to be they don't appear to be spaced in a way that makes sense to you as an infiltrator. They if you had to guess, either either set these up sloppily, not in an optimized way, or some of them have deactivated. Some of them are no longer functional, and that's why
Okay.
the pattern seems strange.
Oh, okay.
But the other thing I'll tell you is that you can also detect the facility itself. At least you're pretty sure it's the facility that you're looking for, and you can tell that it is largely underground, though not entirely. You can tell that there is basically this substructure under the city in roughly the area
Okay.
that you were looking for.
Okay. Okay, sorry, just making that note. And then, well, you answered where's the target normally located,
Mhm.
but the what is the security here usually on the lookout for?
I will answer that by saying that you, in surveying the area, not just with your software, but with your general like intellect and
Mhm.
know-how and experience, you don't know what they're normally on the lookout for because it's clear that no one has been here in a very long time. That like dusting of snow that is around
Oh.
you is completely undisturbed as far as you can tell. And similarly, as you sort of look around, you don't see any signs of like footprints or like tire tracks or anything like that. It looks like nobody has been here in a very long time. And so you're not actually sure that they're on the lookout for anything actively.
Alright. So, I I take all of that in, do that little bit of, like, surveying or whatever, and then let the rest of the crew know, "Okay, so this is really strange," because they definitely have, like, active functioning cameras that are placed here, 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 but, like, some of them, it's like they're just running almost to the point where they're running until they break, and they don't do anything to, like, bring the cameras back up, you know? Because there's also, like, no recent tread anywhere, but the facility's underground, so maybe they're just I don't know, but
Sorry, Jester's really cute right now.
no, he's a good baby.
I know a cat picture when I see
Pet
one,
alert.
or a pet picture, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
She's joining us in the game.
We should be so lucky.
I know.
Suddenly, an adorable dog appears on the street.
Listen,
Suddenly,
don't tempt me.
puppy.
Yeah.
Then they all
Okay,
go
cool.
chasing after the puppy.
Exactly.
We don't need a mission. We have a dog.
Dog.
D.
Gotta do a pet alert. Gotta. All right, cool.
Sorry.
So no, you're good. You're good. Never apologize for pet interruptions on this stream. That's what we live for. Okay, cool. So Amber, you're sharing. Quinn is sharing that information with everybody.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Very, very cool. So
Make of that what you will. We probably could just, go follow the cameras that are down and get in that way very easily.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so we know the blind spots.
Yeah.
If that's even needed.
Yeah, because it almost sounds like they just... Yeah, it almost sounds like they left and forgot to hit the power button on the way out.
Does kind of sound like that. So you're going to try to trace your path through the city, following, basically sticking to the camera systems that are down, which you can definitely try to do. Okay, I dig it, and I think I'm super down for it. I think I want Quinn. I'm assuming you have the map and you're leading the way, being the infiltrator. You're literally infiltrating. So I think what I'll say is I want you to roll to act quick. And what you're doing is you're leading everybody else through this city to reach the destination without getting caught on camera. I will also say that before Amber rolls, if anybody thinks that their character would be helping out or helpful in this situation, you can roll the move Lean on Me and support Amber's efforts in this action. Basically, you have the option to give them advantage. However, if you don't roll well enough, you have the potential to expose yourself to danger or complications or push yourself to your limit. So just be aware.
I would really love to roll to help. This is probably the worst possible decision, and that's why I want to do it, because I think it'll make it interesting.
Yeah.
I love bad decisions.
And we
bad decisions
just
make the game more interesting.
We open ourselves up to abandoned place, like bears, just bears.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the danger
Everywhere.
here.
We think that
I
it's
love
puppies, but it's bears.
Zephyr is just like, yeah, I can totally help with this, and we'll see if that's actually true.
Great. Roll with Stalwart. So you'll roll first, Zephyr.
Okay.
Please don't roll like ass.
Okay, so I actually did not. I got a 7.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yay!
So a 7 is success, but what that means is you have to choose one. You can choose to give Amber advantage. However, if you choose to give Amber advantage, you can't choose you aren't pushed to your limits or exposed to danger or complications for your efforts.
Oh shit.
So either you can choose not to potentially complicate the situation, but you won't give Amber advantage in that case, or you can choose to give Amber advantage but potentially make things more complicated for yourself.
I'd like to give them advantage and make things more complicated.
Yes.
Of course you would. And that's what I love about you.
I appreciate JD. You're so great.
He is.
I come for the chaos.
Yes.
So first things first, then, Amber, I want you to roll to act quick with advantage. So roll 3d6 with Slick and then pick the 2 highest values.
Fuck me. Okay, that's a 7.
7 is success. You do get to choose one. So you do have to choose one, but you do it.
Yeah.
Off balance or rush, give yourself disadvantage. You've left something behind, and I will tell you what, or you're pushed to your limits and you suffer 1 stress.
I think in this instance, what makes the most sense, honestly, is like, this is not that big a deal. Everything's underground. I'd leave something behind.
Okay. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You leave something
I'm
behind.
more careless about my movement, but less careless about, you know what I'm trying to say. Like I'm
I do. I 100%
careful.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. Okay, cool. So you lead everybody through the city, and everybody follows after Quinn, basically following right in their footsteps. And you get there, but maybe like 2 blocks away from your destination, you round a corner and you walk directly in the path of a camera that is showing as completely powered down on Quinn's scan of the area. Were anybody to examine this camera closer, which unfortunately none of you do, you'd see that there is a red light under the lens, but it is faint. It is very faint and it is flickering.
Ooh.
Maybe this camera is offline, or maybe this camera is close to being offline, but isn't quite. Hard to say. Zephyr,
Yes.
walking these streets feels strange. There's like this feeling in the back of your skull. And I think I need you to roll with Alien as you are assaulted by the abyss.
Ooh.
Okay. That is a 5.
Oh!
That's rough, buddy. So you can mark an experience, and I think I forgot if anybody else has failed rolls, which I think a few people have. Feel free to mark experience for those. I should have pointed out that is how this PBTA system functions, much like most others. So in a mixed success with Assaulted by the Abyss, 2 of the 3 options happen, but you failed. So I'm going to say 3 of the 3 options happen.
Oh no.
So you were gonna freeze up, and not physically right now necessarily. Maybe Zephyr does stop moving for a second while you're having this internal experience with yourself, but at a critical moment, you're gonna freeze up, and I'll let you know when that happens. Now, the other thing that's gonna happen, the abyss stares into you, and I'm gonna ask you one question from the abyss stares back.
Okay.
And I think what's gonna happen is that, like, moving through this city has, like, shaken something loose in you about your life before. And some of what happened in some of what you've done in your fugue states slips back into your memory, and I think what the abyss stares back is asking you is, what was your let's do this one. For what does your character crave forgiveness, and from whom? I looked down at my notes, and when I looked back up, there was a much bigger dog.
Incredible.
She's just standing up right now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Not bigger than the pug, I should say,
Yes.
relatively.
The dogs
been
do
in my
change.
lap for like 10 minutes.
I think I just, like, my eyes registered dog, and I was like, oh, it's the dog. It's the dog. And then I, like, looked closer, and I was like, that's a different dog. It's not the same one.
Yeah.
So I think what comes back to Zephyr in that moment, in part I'm hesitating because what just popped into my head may cross some lines and veils, and that's why I want to be cautious. So
that's fair.
I'm just going to ask, if it is veiled, how does everyone feel about harm towards children?
If it is veiled, it's okay.
Yep.
If it's veiled, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it'll be completely veiled. I will not describe anything in detail. But to summarize, I think what happens in that moment is memories come back to Zephyr of one of their missions. And they remember that in this case, the mission included a family and there were children.
Okay.
Harm did not happen to all of the children. So to answer that final question in terms of who do they crave forgiveness from, they crave forgiveness from that one survivor.
Jesus.
Very good. Okay. That memory comes rushing back to you. And you freeze, pause for a second. Also, very fittingly, because we're doing all three options, you are scarred by your experience, figuratively or literally, and you may write a hook about it.
Awesome.
Yep. Great. So that's the complication that happens. However, you do move through the city, and you do manage to reach the mark, the place where all of your information has led you, which you don't know exactly what this building was, but it is in a very similar state of wreckage to all of the other ones around it. I think probably at this point there's only like a first floor even kind of standing, just like a loose collection of walls that are up in the general shape of a building. But the top half is like completely gone, crumbled into debris all around it. There is like no door in the frame that leads into it. And there's not even a roof over the structure. It's just completely exposed to the elements.
Saber this whole time has a gun out at like a handgun and is just like prepared to shoot anything that moves that is not them.
Scylla has been
All right.
occasionally putting some rocks and leaves in her pocket and occasionally scooping up handfuls of snow to squish between her fingers as they've been going.
Cool. I assume this behavior does not seem out of the ordinary to anybody on the crew.
This is normal for Scylla.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
She probably
All right,
offers you
and-
guys some snow.
You guys want some snow?
Never
eat
felt snow
or-
before.
Is it snow to eat or snow to throw?
You can eat it?
Yeah.
I mean, provided
Yeah.
it's not poisoned.
How can you tell if it's poisoned?
I mean, from like pollution. and
Radiation. Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Probably not a good idea.
Okay. Just continues to squish it. She kind
Is
of
the
looks at
snow poison? Can it be made into snow cream? Do I need to roll for snow cream?
Oh no.
That's a great question. This
Incredible.
Yes.
This hyper-capitalist sci-fi game is about to take a very whimsical turn.
She just looked inside my nose.
I'm so sorry.
Oh.
I'm so
Continue.
sorry. Yeah.
We don't have to roll for snow cream.
No, I know. I'm just thinking because like I wonder, Scylla, have you been irradiated before? That's up to you because
Have you been irradiated?
we've established some things about your character.
she
Incredible
doesn't.
question.
I would say since she woke up for the first time in San Antonio and decided she was Scylla Tarn, not to her knowledge.
Right. Okay. Well, then all I'll say about it is that you have a general knowledge that things that would hurt other people and cause them harm generally don't seem to affect you. But up to you if you want to risk eating the snow or not.
I think since we're on a mission, I'm going to resist eating the snow. I'll just keep squishing it until it melts.
Cool.
Okay.
And it does so very, very quickly. So what are you all doing? Zephyr, safe to say you're probably a little distracted. And
Yes.
whether or not anybody else notices this behavior is completely up to you all.
I probably do and offer them some snow.
They do not even really acknowledge you, Scylla, which isn't like them.
Just gonna gently poke your arm and be like, Zephyr, 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 have you felt snow before?
Not now, Scylla.
Oh. I can hold some for you for like a minute and then it's gonna go away.
Not now, Scylla.
Okay. I have some rocks. Later.
This is so
There's
cute.
the oh, that's what I was going to do. Thank you so much. Perfect timing.
Oh.
Incredible. Okay. So for everybody else, Quinn, you seem to be the most focused, and obviously you have the most accurate data of this area. Would you like to scope it out? Would you like to roll to scope it out with calculating? Because right now, as far as you can tell, you're just in a ruin. But according to all of the data you have, this is where you're supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think also, given what I surmised from that setup, I know that there's a significant portion of this, place underground. So
Yes.
yeah, I think scope it out would be good so that I could find an entrance underground.
Perfect.
And is that something that I
well,
could give them advantage on? Because I'm also like, I have gun out and I'm like looking around everywhere.
Absolutely, yeah. Same thing with lean on me. If you want to, you can roll
Okay.
with stalwart.
Yeah.
With stalwart. Okay, that's a 0. So let's just see what I roll.
Could be worse.
That's a 5, so I think I just screwed things up. Yep.
Not necessarily. Yeah, you do get an XP. So mark that.
Okay.
But you don't necessarily screw anything up, but you also don't necessarily help. So Amber, you're not going to roll with advantage or disadvantage. You're just going to roll with calculating.
Okay. All right. 8.
Yay.
Great. You can ask
An
one
8.
question.
Okay. Boop, 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 boop. And that is for scope it out.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the best question is where is my best way in?
Perfect. Yep. And yeah, you can find that. It's a little bit covered in some debris and some snow, and you can tell that it used to be sectioned off behind walls. But now it's a lot more exposed, and you can find a lift. It may have been more of an elevator at some point, but with the state of the building, it's now
Yeah.
mostly just a platform.
Yeah, like a service elevator type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, sick. Hey, y'all, wait. I think I found a way in. It's a little rickety, and we will definitely have to be careful, but I think, and like, I use, I have a tactical cloak, and so I'm just gonna use that to like brush a lot of the snow off.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
perfect. Hell yeah.
I mean, that should
Okay.
work.
So you clear the platform, and it's got power. You check the control panel, and it looks like it should function. Not 100% sure about the hardware, but the software seems to be in order.
Oh shit! Hold on. Oh, my Bluetooth just cut out.
Oh, you're good.
God damn it! It does this.
It's all good. Just let me know. I'll just keep talking. You can just let me know when you.
I mean, I can hear you. Well, I can hear you
Oh,
now
okay.
through like my MacBook speakers. So
I see.
yeah.
All right. All good. Well, I'll just we'll just keep going for now. And
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
wait,
cool.
here we go.
So
We're good.
hey,
Wait.
there we go. All right. So yeah, like I said, software seems in order. Hardware, maybe a different question, but it's the way that you found that you could get down. So you're all gathering on the platform and activating the controls. You can feel it start to judder under your feet and start to lower.
All right, down we go into the abyss.
There we go. Yeah, you start. It starts to lower, and it is kind of juddering and shaking under your feet, but it seems to be holding steady for a while until you hear this sudden creak of metal. Not exactly sure where it's coming from or what component is failing until one of the cables
Oh shit.
snaps
no.
in half.
Fuck.
What do you do?
Cool. I mean, do we even know how far down this elevator shaft goes?
Yeah, you can see the bottom. You're like it starts to lower you down, and you can see that basically you almost looks like a hanger or something. You are a good distance off of the ground. It will hurt if you fall. Some of you will probably survive, but the odds are not good.
Is there like any ladder on the hatch, like a maintenance ladder? Not like on the platform, but in the shaft itself.
Yeah, it's not so much a shaft. It's basically as it starts to lower, you're kind of in a open room.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah, but I will say that there is probably a maintenance ladder along the wall to one side of the lift, and it would be a jump to get there, but like you can't just reach out and grab onto it. You might be able to get to it.
Oh boy.
Does anyone have a grappling hook?
No, I do not. That is the thing is I
Yeah,
do
I don't
not.
think anybody does.
Okay, I have hear me out. I have a shotgun.
Mhm. I do know what you're trying to do.
To jam it to
I'm
stop
I'm
Yeah,
the
the
elevator?
fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's real cool. I like that idea a lot. I will let you do that. You are going to be acting quickly, so you're going to roll with slick.
Yeah, that is. Oh my god! Dropping dice everywhere.
Everywhere.
That's an 8.
Flying all over the place.
Yeah, that's literally what
Perfect.
happened.
Okay.
8.
Yeah, you've been rolling act quick a lot, so I think you know the drill. Off balance or rushed, leave something behind, or push to your limit and suffer one stress.
Great. Yeah, I think I'm gonna suffer one stress. This is stressful.
Okay.
We're about to
It's
fucking
stressful.
like.
It's very stressful, but yeah, absolutely, you can do this. And I'll say even that you don't have to. You succeeded. I'll say that you don't even have to use a shotgun. I'll say that there's a piece of like metal just kind of sticking out to one side of you that was clearly a railing or something for this lift. It's decayed since then, and I'm going to say that you can grab that and just kind of wedge that into the winch of the lift itself, and just kind of like as you feel it start to fall under you, you very quickly reach out, grab that, wedge it in, and while you are very stressed and pushed to the limit by this effort, the lift does come to a stop. It comes to a shaking stop suddenly, but it is holding under your feet.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. What the fuck? I'm so sorry. I didn't. Well, I mean,
It's
there's
not
no
your
way we
fault.
could have known.
It's not your
But
fault.
Okay,
right.
so is there a way for us to get off of this elevator
Yeah,
now?
how far down?
Pretty far down. I'll say like maybe 100 feet, but there is that service ladder. I mean, it's not a ladder. It's
Mhm.
basically just a series of rungs set into the concrete wall.
Yeah.
Now that you are not dealing with the stress of like having this platform fall out from under you, it's a pretty easy jump, and I think all of you can safely make it without having to roll and just grab onto that and start climbing down.
Okay. I think that that's the better solution.
And hey,
Puts
now
the
we
gun in
know
the back.
the way back out.
There you go. So yeah, you all make the short leap over to the railing, and you start to climb down, hand over hand. It takes you a little while, but it's not difficult by any means. And soon you are standing on the ground within this abandoned research facility, presuming you are in the right place. Um, Looking around, this is clearly some kind of uh, similar to that sort of freight elevator comparison we drew earlier, except that you can see that down here at the bottom, the entire floor is kind of a lift, or at least a giant section of the floor at the very bottom is its own lift. And this one is clearly for much bigger objects, maybe like vehicles or huge like crates of supplies or something like that. But it is not currently raised. It is sitting inert down here at the bottom. Aside from that, there are some control panels, consoles in the hangar, but really only one way in or out, which is a big, giant set of sealed double doors off to one side, pretty much directly facing you from where you're standing. And it's also worth noting that there is a fine layer of dust over pretty much everything.
Mm.
Are there like emergency lights still active, or is it just pitch black down here?
It is not pitch black. There are some lights on. They don't appear to be emergency lights though. They're
Okay.
just kind of low lights. Some of them are
Interesting.
ranging around the top of the ceiling, and some of them are set into the floor on the bottom.
Could be solar powered.
And I think as we're all standing here, Zephyr, who's been very quiet since you all entered the facility, just says, like, is looking at the doors and just says, "Are we sure we want to find out what's on the other side of them?" I mean,
What
are we
other
sure
option do we have?
I don't know. I mean, I know we've come all this way, but that means we don't know what they did to us or what they might have made us do.
For me, it's better to know than to live with the mystery always hanging over me.
Well, if they made us do something, we weren't the ones choosing to do it.
I mean, that's getting philosophical and existential and free will and all of that. It's good that you have that perspective, Scylla. What about you, Quinn?
I'd much rather take this time and figure out the answer to what instead of asking myself continually, what if? And if the last question on my mind is what, at least it's not what if.
That's fair. I just wanted to make sure we were all prepared. I'm
Are
not going
you?
to stop here. I'm not going to stop here. I might as well know.
I mean, I'd just really like to know why I have this thing on my arm, because when I woke up, I didn't have it, but then when I woke up in London, I did have it.
That's true.
So I'd just like to know what it meant and where it came from, but that's about it.
All right.
Okay.
Then we're going in.
If you see something you don't like, you can close your eyes. Because, like, Saber's really
Wisdom.
tough, so if you need a moment, Saber can, like, protect us while you close your eyes.
Saber needs a minute.
Meanwhile, Saber just leaves.
Leaves.
No,
Yeah.
bye.
Saber's
Bye.
like, I'm out. You're on your own.
Bye, bitches.
This is too
Yep.
sentimental. This is amazing timing.
I'm sorry, I'm tough in protecting people, and then I just left.
That
It
was
was-
incredible.
It was
Bye.
very like you know when Lizzo on Instagram is just like, bye, bitch. Yeah.
Yep.
It was very that.
Same energy.
Love it.
Here, what would Robert
Incredible.
Pattinson do? What would you do in this situation? Nothing.
He'd
Okay.
go in.
Yeah.
He'd go in.
He'd definitely go in.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Cool. So yeah, in investigating around after you have this conversation, assuming you decide that you are going to go ahead, you do find the console that seems responsible for the door controls for opening the giant double doors to the hangar. You with it, you also find the controls to the lights, which you can tell from this particular console, no, you don't see any access to a camera system. Like, I mean, you know that there are cameras at least outside, but this does not appear to be the console that they're connected to.
Okay. Well, with this console, could I actually use hacking and cracking when you attempt to hack, break into, or open? I want to get into this thing and like learn its guts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely try that. You did discharge that earlier, but enough time has passed since then that it is no longer discharged.
Yeah. So, yeah. So roll plus flick. Oh fuck yeah! That is a 13.
Woo!
Hell yeah.
Holy
All right, you
Holy
got
cow.
it. That is incredible. So you can just do what you want. I mean, you do have to I'll just say that you don't even have to choose one. It's not technically how it works, but like you're breaking in and I'm not going to make you choose an issue with it. You can
Yeah.
just do it. So what are you looking for?
Yeah, well, I think just that little speech about like wanting to know what instead of always wondering what if. I'm just here trying to figure out the what of this panel and,
Okay.
digging inside its guts to figure out like to figure out like where the like even though this isn't the main panel for the cameras, like can I figure out like where they lead to? Is there something on the other side of this? So, yeah. You know what I'm trying to say?
Cool. I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You do find the camera controls.
Mhm.
there do appear to be there are a lot of them outside, obviously. Some of them are like showing just sort of, that gray staticky image that you would expect of ones that have broken.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them are functional, but obviously are
Mm-hmm.
just showing an empty city for the most part. There also are some cameras throughout the facility, as far as you can tell. Some of them are also broken, probably just due to age and failing components,
Yeah.
but some of them are still active for sure. Um, so you find that, you find the door controls, and I will say that you find, uh, since you've hacked into the system, I will say that you find some like very encrypted internal like secret files.
Ooh. Okay. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what is I would love to read those files and be able to tell the rest of the party what they contain.
Absolutely. There is a lot of data that you have just unearthed, and it is it's massive and a very deep file directory. But you kind of like pick one at random, and you open it, and it appears to be like it appears to be maybe like it's a video of some kind. It has a very weird vibe, though. It feels almost like it's maybe supposed to be a propaganda film or like a
Mm.
sales pitch. You're not really sure, but like the first thing that you see, is the logo of the Earth Coalition Party,
Mhm.
Huh.
which is a red like globe, clearly meant to be a planet, with a yellow star set into it. And in point of fact, you can tell that this is the logo specifically of the Earth Coalition Party Armed Forces, because there is a black ring
Mm-hmm.
circling around the outside of it, almost like the ring around Saturn, but very thin. Uh, So that's the first thing that you see displayed. You get like this sort of like feedback bleep of like the thing starting to play, and then it kicks on to the Earth Coalition Party Armed Forces logo, and then there's like a voiceover that takes over,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds almost very cheerful. It's definitely not speaking English, but you register it as speaking English just because you have your universal translators, all of you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's just sort of narrating over these not screenshots, but these clips of images, and you can see uh as these images flit by, um the first thing I think you see is laid out on uh uh somebody laid out on like a surgical table. They're not actively being operated on. It appears like it is like a post-op situation, where they're sort of wearing a surgical gown, but they're sitting there and they're looking perfectly healthy, and alert in their surroundings. But they are kind of like um, they're kind of looking down at their hand, which you can see is kind of splitting in a weird way into like these different sort of components. Like parts of their arm and their hand are like splitting open, and you can see that there are like mechanical components underneath, and it's kind of just like rearranging itself in
Mm-hmm.
different ways, different formations that have sort of a different purpose to it. And Saber, that might not be exactly how the technology that as is like sort of implanted in you works, but it's it's similar. It's got that same sort of vibe to it, where you can just tell like this person has had a lot of cybernetic components built into
Mm-hmm.
their body. Uh the like next image that it jumps to, and the voice continues speaking, and I'll get back to that in a second, but we'll do the visuals first. The next thing you see is this like very long hallway that is full of like security systems. Like you can see that there are like crisscrossing laser beams, very sort of stereotypical. Um, a locked door at the end, and you actually see what you think. You actually see Quinn in the video. You actually see Quinn enter from one end of the hallway, except this Quinn is older. This Quinn is like significantly older. They're wearing like a tactical uniform of some kind, like a black suit that has like lots of different pockets and things built into it. And as you are watching the video, they navigate through this laser field very agilely and very deftly. And they reach the other end, and you can see them sort of like working at the components of the door lock mechanism, which like only takes a few seconds of them tapping away at the control screen and like attaching different things that they pull out of their pockets and belt before it like slides open. The next image that you see is of a person, human man, obviously human, man who is standing at one end of a room facing a group of soldiers who are armed with guns. And as you watch, beyond the soldiers, there's also like a tank sitting there. And as you watch, the man sort of like bursts into action and moving with preternaturally human speed, uh, moves, basically just blows straight through this group of soldiers. They definitely getting shot a couple times in the process, but doesn't seem to slow him down. The wounds, if you didn't know better, almost like close as soon as they are opened, and they're just kind of like knocking these soldiers around like they're paper dolls. Eventually, they reach the tank, which has started to roll forward, has not actually had a chance to fire yet. They kind of like reach the tank, and they like hook their fingers under the bottom of it and start to strain. You can see the tank start to lift off of the ground, not fully, but just like the front of it. And with a gasp of extreme exertion, they kind of like straighten their arms over his head, and the tank fully like flips over onto its back. Just these treads running in the air. And then lastly, you see a room that is filled with tubes, uh, murky, sort of like liquidy substance inside of it. And it's hard to get a clear look, but the footage then like cuts to a closer shot as you see these forms within the tube that appear almost human. The shape is definitely human, except like the entirety is covered in this sort of crystalline substance, head to toe. But eyes are closed, and they look almost peaceful, like they're resting, maybe just unconscious. It's very hard to say, but yeah. As these images and clips of footage flash across the screen, this voiceover continues talking of a very cheerful voice, and it says the the research division, the Babel the research division of the Babel facility is at the forefront of the future of warfare. Brought to you by the Earth Party Coalition Armed Forces, some of our successful experiments should be ready for the market within just a few short months. We we have among our many projects, perfected we have perfected widespread cybernetic integration of biological forms. We have perfected the cloning process, identifying and isolating biological key factors leading to peak performance. We've improved upon existing but inefficient nanite infusions to allow for almost immediate healing and improved strength, reaction time, and speed. And we have found ways, we are pioneering at the forefront of genetic splicing to the point where we have found ourselves able to integrate organic matter with the human form beyond standard biological practices.
I'm just watching Amber over here reacting to all of
It's
this.
amazing.
It's
Their
the
reaction
best
is
thing ever.
amazing.
I'm in pain. I'm in pain.
Spain
And it
without the S.
brings me joy.
So, yeah. And then the video basically
Well.
kind of comes to a conclusion with the with the person saying, all of this and more can be yours. Inquire today.
Well, I do believe that we have some information now.
And this never hit the market, so that would sort of explain the dangerous and failed on the files Quinn has.
Yeah. Listen, they're not smart enough to put 2 and 2 together. But I am.
You're talking about Quinn.
Yeah.
I was like, that's mean.
No,
and then I realized you were talking about your character.
no. Quinn is not smart enough to put 2 together. Okay. Well, I'm glad that they determined that whatever project that was with the splicing or whatever was dangerous to it seemed highly unethical for them to be able to do that to people. So, all right, we got some answers. Cool.
And Saber just pats you on the head because you are much shorter than them and just goes, tattoo on the arm. Are you sure we aren't the clones?
I woke up in San Antonio.
Doesn't
That
mean
doesn't,
anything.
yeah, that doesn't mean that's where you started.
But I remember that's where I started.
To be clear, only one of the projects mentioned cloning. The one that involved infiltration and isolating key biological factors. The other projects, there were 4 separate projects basically. One was widespread cybernetic integration. One was nanite infusion. One was cloning with the key biological factors, and then the other one was splicing, gene splicing.
Gotcha. So experiment numbers, maybe, or sectors?
But when did they figure out the splicing? Because it doesn't look like my crystals. And I woke up with them. And that was before I woke up in the hotel room. Maybe it doesn't matter.
And if we were experimented on, why would they just let us go? We all woke up in a hotel together. I have no memories prior to that, anyway.
A lot of questions. If you'd like, you can try to take the massive amount of data that you have access to, but it's probably too much for you to go through right here and now.
Yeah. Well, has the program I've been running finally finished?
Yeah, you know what? I will say that it has. I will say that it has if you check on it as you are going to like download that data load to keep a record of it and access to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it has finished downloading, and I think what you see is that the redacted message, in addition to the information that was existing before, that you had access to before, is basically now saying, as a result of the failure of our pilot programs, facility 8A83L is to be shut down. Sufficient resources will be allocated to ensure the containment of existing threats. Period. Option exists to resume programs in the future. Period. As it stands, too dangerous. Period.
So, are they just storing them in the back?
There's certainly one way to find out.
Like a pantry. But worse.
Significantly worse.
But we weren't contained.
That's what I'm wondering
Very
about.
curious about.
Were we the
Mhm.
source material?
Threats?
We left.
Do we really know
Yes.
Roddy?
Roddy's cool,
Well,
Maybe.
isn't Roddy?
is there maybe this is Amber metagaming a little bit.
Hmm?
Is there any data going back to Roddy or like referring to Roddy if I like, went into this veritable Google Drive of content?
Yeah. You can scan through the data and you don't really see anything about operatives or anything like that, or really any mention of any sort of continued monitoring of the program or functioning of anything like that. However, what I will say, I'll give you this. You are kind of drawn back to the part of the redacted memo that says, that refers to the failure of the pilot program.
Failure of the pilot program. I took that to mean we were the pilot program, but that doesn't mean it is. Or
I am a bad pilot.
You're not.
not that kind of pilot, most likely.
No thoughts, head empty. Truly.
Yep.
It's the best kind of pilot.
Mhm.
Mm.
But you don't find any mention of Roddy,
Okay.
or any mention of like Mr. X, or really anything to indicate that like this program continued on in any way after like a little less than 2 years ago.
No
Mhm.
mention of our names in there, I'm assuming.
Nope.
I mean, did we make up our names?
Oh my god.
I mean, I did. When I first woke up.
So did
Before the
I.
hotel.
I didn't
That's up
have
to
a
y'all.
name. I gave
Either
myself
maybe
the
you
name Saber.
Yeah.
It's a cool name.
I chose my name too.
So?
So if we chose our names, there's not going to be any record of us in this. That'll be easy to find.
But I chose my name before.
Doesn't mean that's the name they used for you.
This is my birth name. Quentin is my birth name. I remember being born with this name.
It's possible
That's
they
your name.
manipulated your memories, or maybe not.
I mean, that wasn't listed in part of the program.
Plenty
Maybe
of
they
other
don't
things were,
share
though.
anything.
Yeah.
Do we want to go back there, or are we satisfied with what we found here?
I think we have to go back there.
Are we
Amber,
letting them
I
out of the
like
pantry?
Amber, I like the expression on your face, and I think I would
Mhm.
like you to roll with alien.
Goddamn. Okay, that's a 10.
Yay!
That's a 10. That's a
Wow.
10 even with a -1.
Wow.
Hell yeah. All right. All right. Okay, with a 10. With a 10. Okay. With a 10, I'm going to go with this question. And you can fill it in with me. At this moment, what terrifies your character to the core?
Okay. What terrifies Quinn?
And that doesn't have to be like a single truth. That can be like situational. Like at this moment, what is Quinn's worst fear?
Is like the fear of being gaslit specifically. Like of everything everything they know to be true to actually be false.
Okay.
Because
I will
there's
say,
not much that they know to be true, period.
right.
Mhm.
Right.
But the things they know to be true, they cling to.
Then I will say in this case, I'm certainly not going to tell you that your character's memories of like their childhood and their life or anything like that are fake. But I will say that in this moment, you are thinking about times in your life that everybody experiences, but specifically times in Quinn's life where you know someone said or did something to you that just seemed like off, just seemed like strange, and or maybe where somebody was like mad at you and you didn't know the reason why, or somebody left without giving you a good reason. And you're just kind of thinking about all of those and thinking like those at the time that was confusing, that didn't make sense. What if those are false memories? What if those are implanted and that's why they seem strange?
It Y'all, what if our memories were altered? And I
To
think
for-
y'all might have been saying that, but I think fuck. Well, shit. Fuck shit.
And Saber's right there, and if Quinn will let them, will like awkwardly like be like hug.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And just like wraps their arms around you.
Just gonna reach over and pat Quinn's back.
I think Zephyr alone is the one like standing apart from this group. and just staring at the doors. That's where their attention is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We can go, Quinn. We don't have to go through the doors.
Better to know, better to not know.
Hold on. Well, I'm answering your question that you just put in chat because
no worries.
Here, y'all, I need to figure something out logistically as Amber. So if y'all role play amongst yourselves for just a second, I just need to make sure. I need to check. Sorry.
You're
You're
good.
good.
That console's up, and like there are those cameras, like I mentioned, that are sort of scattered throughout the facility, as well. If you want to look through those, but also you have access to the door controls, so it's really whatever you want to do.
So you said that there aren't any monitors for the cameras here, correct?
There weren't, but you have gotten
Okay.
access to them thanks to Quinn hacking into the system.
Oh, okay. Well, then, if there's a way to look back at past footage, like backtrack 2.5 years, or like just before we woke up.
Perfect. Okay. You can start going back through the footage, scrubbing through it. It is a little bit hard to see. Basically, there's a lot to comb through. I think I'm going to want Saber to roll with calculating, as in you are scoping this out by combing through the
Okay.
footage.
I have an 8.
Okay. All right. You have an 8, and you get to ask one question then. So I guess that is the biggest thing. There's a lot of footage. You'll be able to find basically one answer to a question. And don't feel like you have to limit yourself to the questions from Scope It Out if you have something else you want to ask, but
Yeah.
it's got to be
Well,
one question.
let me look at the Scope It Out questions and then go for there.
Sure.
Mm.
And those are made to be
Ooh.
pretty general.
This is an interesting question that I think can be adapted for the situation of who or what here is not what they seem. Like trying to see if we are not what we seem, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If
All
that
right.
makes sense.
I'm going to give you. I will give you a little bit of information with that. I will answer that question for sure. I'll probably give you a little bit extra as well. So here's what I'll say. The first thing you find as you start going back through the footage doors opening. And then fast forwarding just a little bit, you see what appears to be the four of you standing on this lift platform that is currently at the bottom. But in scrubbing through to try to find that footage, I'm going to say that at one point you overshoot your target and you see what you can only assume because it's farther back than that. It's way farther back than that. What you see is the hangar that you're looking at, but kind of completely fresh and gleaming and new. And you see that lift that you all came down, except now it has the railing and the it looks like it was just built basically. and you see that starting to descend. You see somebody standing on it with wearing a lab coat, and you don't recognize them. They don't stand out to you in any particular way. Clearly, like a scientist of some kind, but don't really know who they are. But you do recognize the person standing next to them, which appears to be Scylla, a younger version.
Okay. Scylla,
Huh.
do you remember this?
Nope. Can you see if I have any of the on me, or is it not clear enough? Is there a zoom button? No.
There's
Okay.
not, unfortunately.
So
And
I'm like a
assuming she's wearing
teenager.
like a lab coat or something.
So I'm not in a lab coat.
You are not. No, you are young. How long ago did you wake up in San Antonio?
I didn't have a specific timeline in mind. It was obviously before the hotel in London.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll say then that this appears to be. I'll say you look like a teenager,
Okay.
but definitely not wearing a lab coat.
I don't remember this at all.
I think as you are staring at that, all kind of gathered around it, trying to figure out exactly what's going on, you hear a mechanical whir as the doors start to open.
Saber immediately pulls out a gun.
Okay. That wasn't you. Cool.
Well, unfortunately, we may have to see what's on the other side of those doors at another date because we are just about out of time. So, if you can't leave it on a good ending, leave it on a cliffhanger. That's what I always say.
That's great. I hate it, but it's great. No.
Yep. Maybe we'll come back to this. Who knows? I would definitely be down for that. This was a lot of fun, and I hope you all had a lot of fun too.
Yes.
We got to get Amber. Got to get Amber out the door because they have some very important things to do this afternoon.
Go.
So, yeah. So we're gonna call it here. Amber, you're muted. Sorry.
I said I gotta be in Will City, so it's fine.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. It's true. All right, cool. Well, let's just breeze on through this. Hi, hello. We are live from the apocalypse. My name is Will. I'm one of the GMs and the organizers. I ran this game. I run a whole bunch of other stuff on the channel too. If you're not already following us, check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. We got streams and podcasts and the whole 9 yards. It's a good time and we're cool people and it's a lot of fun. Donate to Extra Life. That's probably the big plug. Follow us on the socials. Join the Discord community. We would love to have you. It's a great place full of great people. And that's about it for me. Let's do alphabetical order once again. Amber.
No, you're muted.
Muted
Again.
God fucking damn it, bitch shit. God damn it. Hi, everybody. I'm Amber, also known as The Space Jamber on Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. And I like to use a lot of fun cursey words. I am a TTRPG writer, editor, podcaster, streamer. What talents are varied, you can call me the TTRPG Swiss Army knife. I run TTRPG Study Hall on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern on my Twitch, The Space Jamber. I also, on Wednesday, will be holding a tarot reading night. If you just want to check in with, we have a lunar eclipse on Tuesday. So if you want like a post lunar eclipse tarot reading, come by on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Hang out, vibe, whatever. And I probably might hop off this call because I need to pack a bag. So thank you so much for this cool, spooky ass vibe. Yeah. Oh my God. Have a great day.
Thanks for
You
playing.
too.
Bye, Amber.
Bye. All right, Anya, take it away.
Yeah. So I'm Anya, aka Lalian Cosplay. I do a lot of TTRPG stuff. So I just wanted to shout out a couple quick things. So starting tomorrow, I will be in a Regency game that is Good Society on Girls Run These Worlds. I will be at MCM Birmingham next weekend. And then I have a monthly micro RPG on my channel on the 19th at 4 p.m. Central European. And then on the 26th, I will be back on this channel running my module, The Curse of Fate. So that will be at, again, 4 p.m. Central European time right here. It's Escape Room meets D&D 5e, and it's a really fun time. So I hope y'all will come check it out. That's it.
Everybody should definitely come check it out.
Yes.
Yeah,
thank you so
that
much
sounds
for being a part
amazing.
of this. And yeah, right. JD.
Yes, I am JD. You can find me on socials at JD, not Jason Dean. I live mostly at Live from the Apocalypse. You can see me in less than an hour running Brindlewood Bay with a bunch of elderly women solving mysteries. And then you can find me again on Tuesday and Wednesday for class reunion and fetch quest, respectively. And then I will be over with the Lost Caravan next Saturday at 2:00 for Witches Fated Souls.
Hell yeah.
So those are my plugs for now.
Hell yeah. Three of us. You can see 3 of us in that game.
That is true, yes.
Yeah, we're wrapping up, but that's okay. We'll be back in like 30 minutes. Well, like 50. We'll see when we finish this anyway. Thank you, JD. Steph.
I'm Steph. You can find me at Esbrown Writes on Twitter, also mainly lurking in the Live from the Apocalypse Discord, and you can see me in an hour for Brindlewood Bay. So
And we nobody from our Extra Life group is currently streaming because I think everybody is sleeping since they were up until
We can hope.
9 a.m. Very valid. So instead, we're going to raid a different group that is raising money for Extra Life. The account is Valdrianth. Don't know them, but they are doing Extra Life TTRPG Marathon, and they are playing the SCP TTRPG. Not sure what system that is, but SCP stuff is always fun. So we're going to disappear for just a few minutes. Don't go away. Join us on the raid and say hi. If you are subscribed, you can copy paste that first link just to let them know that we are there to say hi. And if you're not subscribed, just grab the little one with the raccoon and use that instead. But that's going to do it for us here. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll catch you next time. Be good.